I identify as a Spider-Man. I've recently gone ahead and gotten my files from the government, and I have erased them, and I have now told them I am a Spider-Man. My real name is Ron Parker, and I am. What the hell was his name? Peter Parker. I am now. I'm now Peter Parker from Russia. It's like Russia, but it's not as mean. It's nicer than Russia. I just have a serious fact here. You see everyone flying a Ukrainian flag, but no one's flying a Russian flag for the people, not the army. I'm not saying I'm for Ukrainian army or Ukrainian. I'm for Ukrainian people. I'm for Russian people. I'm a person. I'm not in the army, and I don't plan on joining the army. I have no aspirations of shooting other people from another country in an army. I think it's bad. You know, there is a way to live, and there's going to be a way to live, and it's either with war or completely without, right? War, right? Yes, a quick little feud at a market. Somebody pushed your wife down. You're gonna thump them. But are you gonna go to war and erase their entire civilization from the map? Everyone who's ever touched hands with that person? No. That's kind of like what war is. So let's make sure you don't hop on a bandwagon of flying a Ukrainian flag without fully understanding what war is. It's not pleasant. And the highest powers that be, the highest powers, they know for a fact how to deal with an unruly emperor. They poison said person. They don't attack and destroy the entire cityscape where all the people live. They take out the one bad guy that's evil in power. But there's a problem that this might be generated to facilitate something else. Like, I don't know. I don't actually understand how we let World War One start, and then how we let World War Two begin after. Just 24 years later or whatever. 40 years later, we did another war. So it's about every 40 to 50 or 60 years, there's a major war. And it's playing out exactly, almost to the dollar. So 1900s, there's a Great War of 1901 to 1904, was World War One, something like that. And forgive me if I'm wrong, veterans, I'm not being mean. I don't know. But it's around that time, 1900. Then we got 1940. Then I believe it ended in 45. I'm not exactly sure again. 46 maybe. And yes, it's a pivotal part in history. I don't need to know the exact date. I need to know about things that occurred during said time, and I have a little bit of background on it, and it's all good men and women gave their lives for something that another started. We do realize that, right? Someone pits us against another. We don't actually have a grudge against another country. Like me, personally, as a Canadian, I love every person on this planet equally. If you are evil, I would love to do evil things to you, but that's it. Lots of stuff to talk about today, and we're going to get right into it. This isn't Ukraine versus Russia. This is a few people in high up places that have an argument or are pitting us against each other, period. It's one or the other. Never forget that. A lot of people are brought up in military families. Your house, your car, your estate, anything your parents will leave you could be coming because of the military, right? You may be being paid by the military right now. Um, eh, do you know that space is about to be taken over by the military, right? So, it's really, and I do have to. I'm not scared. I have to. I want to make sure that this is seen by people, and they have a very dangerous way of hiding what is seen by people, because they don't want people preaching peace in this time. They want people to create separation among countrymen and earthlings, people living in a universe. They want to create separation between any groups they can, any way they can, whether it be through political views, um, science and medicine, which are two different entities. Medicine comes out of science that is, been fact checked and proven. We then gain medicine, right? So first we do research, which is science research, right? Which then turns into medicine at the end. And now what we've done is we've turned ourselves into guinea pigs for science, and there's a thing called ethics, and many of the brightest minds around the world have agreed that the ethics behind trial vaccinations is it's highly unethical. Do you know how the first vaccine was ever created? Look it up. It will blow your mind. The first vaccine that was ever created was administered to children without their parents' authorization or their knowledge. This is on Google. This is from Google. So when Google monitors this, they have to understand I pulled all research, all information from medical science papers that are accredited by every. I'll read you. Some people just will never. Most of you will never go and delve into this on your own. You're like, yeah, right. That's because your mind is a spit bucket. It's not actually a vessel to collect fresh water. It's used to collect vermin and slime. You watch Netflix. That's where your mind is, in a spit bucket. Now watch this and learn. Google. First, I'll pull up Google to make sure I'm using the exact web page. You see there, Google. Now I'm gonna pull up vaccine. I should put first vaccine tests were done on children without permission. Canada's shameful history of nutrition research on residential school children. Well, we're gonna screenshot that. We're gonna talk about that because there is a lot to talk about on this. This is something that affects more than. This is horrible what I'm reading instantly, but they did this to poor people. It didn't just have to be Aboriginal people in Canada. Canada's shameful history of nutrition research on residential school children. So I'll give you an example of one time we had a health minister. I was living at another place. This was about 12 or 13 years ago, and I am disgusted. This is why politicians are a joke, because they take up roles of science. It's not funny. They take up roles of science and education and health with a background of like telling people what to do in an office for 4 to 6 hours a day. Like their background was their dad was the head of some corporation, got them a manager job, and slid them in like a greasy turd into a position they were unqualified for and had to ask for help every single day for their job. Needed women or smart men to help or do their job for them that were making less than them, having them do the job for them. They end up becoming the next premier. They end up becoming the next CEO or whatever it is. Like they move up so quickly and they never earned a piece of the pie, even a breadcrumb. Listen to this. There are health ministers in Canada that were grade 1 school teachers, and now they're the health minister of Canada. These are people that play you for fools, and you all vote in this rigged system that they created. 6 people created a system for you to follow so they can stay in power, and you're too stupid to see it. Remember, the first thing you have to do to make the game stop is just stand up. The board falls off your back. They can no longer give you orders because you no longer take orders from them. You're free. As soon as you stand up, you're free. Most of you, 99% of you, will never understand that. Sheeple, guaranteed to the core. You obey. You obey. Watch the movie They Live. The number 1 word in that movie is a 4-letter word, obey. And that word is derived from a longer word you've never used, assimilate, and you can't comprehend. Assimilation is what they've done. They have programmed you and turned you into their piece of molded clay, and then they have put you in a kiln and fired you so that you're permanently stuck in that pose forever. You're in stone. And it's the most horrible thing you could ever imagine, First tests were done on children without permission. First vaccine studies, let me get rid of the word tests. Studies were done, or research. I might have to put research instead of that. If I can't find it, I believe it's in England, in the UK. And we're talking like 1800s or 1905, but you'll see. They always go back to this. They always go back to polio. I actually want to pull something up. I read something the other day. Does anyone know where polio was created? Where polio comes from? Was created in a lab. Scientists from State University of New York at Stony Brook say they created infectious polio virus in the laboratory from scratch using publicly available genetic sequence information. See, most of you don't know this. This is 20 years old. I've known this for a while, but I forgot, and then I remember hearing about it, and then someone sent a text message to me in someone's live stream that I was in, and it was about something like this about 6 months or 8 months ago. It was about something to do with medicine, and they're like, look this up, and I was like, actually, I had heard about this, and I'm like, holy crap, that's right. Listen to this. Scientists from State University of New York at Stony Brook say they created infectious polio virus in the laboratory from scratch using publicly available genetic sequence information. So you tell me something. Where did polio come from if these people in New York used a research paper that was published? Okay, wait. I've got to back up. I read one line too much. Tell me where polio came from. If these scientists in New York 20 years ago created polio in a lab with, and I quote, publicly available genetic sequence information, end quote. Think about what you're being passed in this world. The stories the news tells you are what they want to feed you. So you take their line. When you follow the news and their line, you have just ran into a pile of shit you can't get out of. Don't watch the news. They, the 5 people that run the government and own all the corporations, are lying to you. That's rule one of if standing up. You can no longer watch the evening news. Never again. Listen, I know people, and I gotta be very careful. I know people. The news is fake. They are lying. And this is from them. They are sick of this. They want those in power arrested for all the lies they've fed to us over the last 2 years. There are people who are going to whistleblow on the most powerful people right away. And you have no idea who I am. Wait. Wait and see. Well, I'm gonna read you something now you don't understand. I'm gonna read and first everyone, all these goofs that say vaccines are safe, not one of them knows that polio was created in a lab. Not one of them knows that the genetic sequence that is needed to create this virus is available publicly. Science has already invented this, which you think was created naturally. I ask you one question. Where is patient zero? Where is patient zero? From the COVID outbreak in 2 years ago, where is patient zero? We should by now have figured out who was the first infected person in that came. Who carried it? There is a lie being told. There wasn't a patient. This was spread worldwide. And the information is out there, and it's held by those in Secret Service right now. It's about to come out. It's about to come out. Right away, it's about to come out. And every time one person tries to cover it up, 10 more realize what the fuck is going on. Bring it! Bring it! So I believe it was a smallpox vaccine that was created through smallpox vaccine was created through illegal measures. Science used children to create the smallpox vaccine. I have to pull this up. It's going to take me a minute. Smallpox vaccine research done unethically in Canada. Wow, let's look this up first. Today's vaccines are centuries of experimentation. Okay, so this is a tad bit of truth mixed in with probably a ton of lies. This is from CBC Canada. Today's vaccines are the result of centuries of experimentation. That should scare the fuck out of you, because that sentence, that line is 100% true. That is 100% true. Do you want to know that they create pathogens that they then also create vaccines for? Do you know what area does that? The Army. Look it up. And if again, most of you live in a bubble, and it's a bubble about this big, and you can maybe fit like 40 sentences in there. You're good, bud. You're good. When you're free, the world is your bubble. You can fit anything you want in there. It's up to you to soak it up, though. But when you live in your little bubble and you float over to your couch or your big chair and you sit in there for 4 hours or 10 hours and you just watch Netflix all night, you're a loser. So it says here, today's vaccines are the result of centuries of experimentation. Who the fuck were they? What were they experimenting on? Did you know that ethics has only come around in the last maybe way less than 100 years? Because of look what they were doing to people in World War II. So less than 100 years. Bayer, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, Bayer who has been jumping around planet Earth right now, dodging lawsuits. You don't know that, but since I've been on YouTube, Bayer Pharmaceutical Company has been hiding its main headquarters for less lawsuits to try and dodge lawsuits. Most of you have no clue what goes on in this world. Bears shouldn't be hopping around countries. We should be standing at the airport doors waiting to kick the fuck right out of them when they get off the plane for poisoning all our ancestors, for doing, unethical research that they just get a fine for. We should burn all their paperwork and crush their company to the ground and never let it exist again for fear that they repeat their evil science again. Talk about politicians. Wait till you see the next line of politicians. Once these weak, feeble backbone, evil, scum sucking politicians are all done away with, they're kicked out of politics, thrown in jail. The real men and women that stand up in the next line of politics, it's going to be done fucking way differently, bud. Way differently. Just wait. Pallister was really scared, is why he quit. Winnipeg did not like Pallister. You will never see Pallister walking around the city of Winnipeg. That's what I heard. Pallister is very scared. A lot of people in politics in Manitoba are very scared after all the lies they told for the last 2 years. Very scared. And it's due to ethics. We were lied to. We were cheated. We were stolen from. Our time we can never have back. Those politicians must go to jail for what they've done. Ethical criteria for human challenge studies in infectious diseases. While Edward Jenner's smallpox experiment may have paved the way for development of many important vaccines, won't let me open that. Okay, here it is. So remember, you thought maybe I wasn't talking about something that actually made sense. Listen to this. Connet Labs, Smallpox and Stopping the Speckled Monster in brackets by C.J. Ruddy, 1962. Listen to this. Listen to what this awesome human being figured out. Connet Laboratories had prepared smallpox vaccine since 1916 for Canadian military. Oh, do you know how that works? So the Canadian military funded Connet Laboratories to prepare smallpox vaccines for them. So remember what I said before, most of you can't even know most of you don't have enough friends in high places to understand how this world works. Period. I do. Wake up. Get some. Try and find some people that are cool, that know things, and then have a proper discussion on topics in life. Don't worry about what the fuck's going on Netflix every night, goof. Smallpox vaccine since 1916 for Canadian military and domestic use. Domestic as well, right? But the military did the research for their own and domestic. You don't realize the military, once you're in the military, you are no longer a civilian. You are a property of the government, of the military, of the country you're in. And I don't think most of you, 99.9% of you, I guarantee didn't know that. Guarantee you have no clue. When you join the military, they own you until you're released from the military. And if you're released on bad behavior, you can go to jail after leaving. Most people, when they quit their job, they don't go to jail. So there's a lot of shit you wouldn't even have a clue about. And if they don't like the way that you left the military, they can do a lot of weird stuff. Like they can put you in jail. They can discipline you. It's called an MP, the military police, and you don't fuck with them. Connet Labs, smallpox, and stopping the speckled monster. So let's see. April 14th, 2022, CTV News reports when are lies, misinformation seen as excusable. Researchers conducted 6 experiments involving more than 3,600 patients to examine why people condone lies and misinformation. Uh, they shouldn't be doing that because they're only making themselves more powerful at understanding how to get away with telling lies and what they look for and what people allow. Once they know what people allow for a lie, they'll keep pushing that line. Oh man. That's why you don't do surveys. You don't take a phone call from a corporation that asks you anything about your hair color, eye color, how many people in your house. Nothing. Corporations sell information to other entities that are completely evil and could want to hurt you. Most of you don't understand this, but corporations don't give a fuck about you. They are there to make money. Once they have your personal information, it is sold off to the highest bidder. They don't give a fuck if it's an evil person or evil corp or not. You should learn these things. Uh, I can't really say. I want to tell you some stuff, but I can't because I'm loose. I can't. It's security issues, but I wish I could because I would help you. I could teach you, but I can't because if I teach you, then they know how what. Like I just can't. I want to find this write up on this evil British science doctor that tested vaccines on children without parents' permission. British scientists test viruses on children in 1900. Medical innovations from 1918, pandemic to a flu vaccine. The history of pediatric infectious disease nature. The deadliest flu, the complete story of the discovery and the reconstruction of the 1918 pandemic. It's a horrible story that I know oh, right here, maybe clinical evidence that the pandemic from 1889 to 1891, commonly called Britain and Germany, this might be it. 2 coronaviruses occur frequently in young children, and then as the Russian flu share a number of characteristics, COVID-19 most notable are aspects of multi-system infections, compromising respiratory, gastrointestinal, so your stomach and your breathing, and neurological, so it makes you dizzy. You know, it's the neurological pathways that really scare me, but maybe I don't know about the gastrointestinal enough to be scared by that. But the neurological symptoms, including loss of taste, smell, perception, a protracted recovery resembling long COVID and pathology observations of thrombosis in multiple organs. I also think that long COVID is because you get lazy and people just don't do anything, so you're actually sluggish. Think of it like, for some of you may not even have a clue what I'm talking about, but if you spend all winter indoors in your house because you live in Antarctica and there's 9 feet of snow outside and it's minus 45, you don't get a lot of exercise. So come spring and summer, you're kind of soft, you're a bag of milk, you got to do stuff, right? That's kind of like I think that's like what people are missing is when you're like down and out for a week or two, you're slow to get back on the horse and start going again, right? I think people just gotta like walk it out, sweat it out, walk it out, but it goes, I don't know. I don't think I ever had it, but if I did, it was for a week and it went away after. But people are so scared of something they can't see. They know what they did, and they is the government. They know that they created an invisible monster underneath your bed, and you're a child that can't get over that monster under your bed. And it's not funny. It's a form. It's psychology. I've always said this, that those in power use psychology to mind fuck you, to warp your mind, and you have to see through it. You have to, because, well, it's your only chance of freedom. I want to find this one where a scientist gives. I don't know the name of the exact virus he gave the child, so I can't, or the children, so I can't remember, but he put it on their arms in a small spot and they flare it up. Scientist trial, unethical viruses for vaccine research. So it says for now, it's unethical to use human challenge studies for SARS-CoV-2. Let me be specific. This is what you don't understand. They have all the paperwork from every hospital around the world of everyone who was infected with SARS-CoV-2. So yes, it might be unethical to use human challenge studies for SARS-CoV-2, but when it was unleashed on the world, they didn't accidentally, by mysterious circumstances, which makes no fucking sense, does it? When you think about what I just read, to what you understand about what happened, this is 2020, so 2 years ago they wrote this, and now they have 9 billion challenge studies of humans. 9 billion humans were infected with it. If you went to the hospital, not you're a pussy. Like, you know, if you were sick and you had to, you're fine. But like, if you went just because you thought you couldn't smell, you're a pussy. Like, when I was 10, I couldn't smell because I had a cold, and I couldn't smell for a couple days. You do not go to the hospital unless you're having respiratory issues, or, you know, stuff is coming out of you that's not supposed to be coming out of you. You know, you don't go to the hospital just because you can't smell a tomato. Oh my God, I can't smell a tomato. Get first in line at the hospital. Our hospitals were backlogged because people couldn't smell. So what do you think happened with those people going and sitting in a cubicle next to 40 other people that maybe thought in their head that they couldn't smell a tomato correctly either? Half of them probably just couldn't smell very good because you had too many boogers up your nose. And the other ones probably maybe did have something. But now all 40 of you got it. And now all 40 of you go back to your houses and you share it with the other 5 people in your house. You're up to 200 now. Now you wake up on Monday and you go into work, you've infected your whole building. And you send your kids off to school and you infected the whole school. So, like, that's how easy it is to get people sick with an airborne respiratory illness. If you're sick, stay home. Don't rush off to a hospital because you can't smell. Pathetic. Yeah, you're having heart problems? Go run to a hospital. Can't smell a tomato? Sit in your chair for a couple hours and sniff it in another couple hours, bud. Literally, people on the news saying they went to the hospital because they couldn't smell. Embarrassing, man. And I can't wait till when the power goes out. You non-sniffers, you people who can't smell your tomatoes and your carrots, I can't wait till you're gone. It'll be like 6 weeks. You'll just wither into like a complete, right into your Netflix chair. You're just going to wither right into it. You've never been down the street for a walk. I gotta put unethical vaccine research and see what comes up. Unethical vaccine research on kids. This should pull it up. Unethical vaccine on children in England. I know the doctor was from England. So there are, and here's something that's very interesting. Autism is something new that's come around, right? There are a ton of people that think that vaccines may not be perfect, or may have other agendas. Like you would never know what the purpose of something that they're injecting in you is. After we just read that the government of Canada did hidden research on nutrition of Aboriginal kids. Like what? So they gave them horrible food to eat for decades so they could research how the badly malnourished their bodies would be. Are you kidding me? That is the height. So our health board or whatever we have here is disgraceful. Disgraceful here. And if you think yours in your country is any better, no, they do this stuff to protect them so they know what not to eat. They want you to be the guinea pig for them. But do you know that the guinea pig also gets vaccines before they get it? But wake up. So it says the MMR vaccine and autism, sensation, refutation, retraction, and fraud. NCBI. So I've heard, oh, this is the NIH. This is the biggest, this is where the world gets their information from. This is the NIH is the, oh, it's not going to abbreviate it for me. NIH stands for, I'm going to have to, it's not going to, the British Medical Journal has published a series of articles on the exposure of the fraud, which appears to have taken place for financial gain. It's amazing what's out there. So I'm going to read this to you. The MMR vaccine and autism, sensation, refutation, retraction, and fraud. In 1998, Andrew Wakefield, hang on. Emma. No, hang on. My mom always butt dials me. My mom is 70. We'll send a text message inviting them. No, I don't want a video call. I tried to phone my mom. Yeah, you called me. Hi there. How? How do you accidentally phone someone? I've never done that, Mom. Go back to bed. Do you know what? You're calling your son hash info. Government name Sean. It's 9 a.m. I've been up since 5. I get up at 5. I have cat. I have been up since 5 since 16 years ago when I got cat. Who goes back to bed at 9? I've had a bath and fully dressed. Hi, Mom. No, I'm live on YouTube. I'm doing YouTube shows do you know, Mom, I'm the largest daily live streamer in the world. But it's because I'm live all the time. We're almost at 6,900 videos, Mom. And that's just the ones that are monetized right now on YouTube. We have 3,000 videos of me growing and making hash, and those are all privated. No one can see those anymore, but they used to be able to. 700,000 views on those 3,000 videos, and I have had them hidden for 2.5 years now, Mom. Say hi. Say hi to YouTube, Mom. Say hi first. Say hi.
Hi.
There.
Meow meow.
Meow meow. My cat and my mom are the same. Yeah. I love you, Ma. Bye, Mom. That was my mom. I don't know how my mom does it, but my mom has found a way to unlock the phone and like screenshot it to the side and then like start button bashing. She's managed to accidentally dial me every morning. I don't mind at all. The only reason I mind sometimes is like if I miss the call. And then I try and call her back. And I can never get through to my mom. My mom, super busy lady. Like, if you want to phone, no, you can never call. Like, listen. If you want to have a great life, always be copacetic to people's moms. If you want to have an awful life, worst thing you could ever imagine, be bad to someone's mom. Because I'm telling you, I love my mom more than anything, and I would give up this house in half a second for my mom. Half a second. Anything. Everything I've ever owned for my mom. So you want to make sure you're nice to Hashi's mom, or I'll get you real good. My mom's had a rough one. And the rest of my mom's life's gonna be real good. What do we got here? So, we did our morning show. I feel really good about it. There was more she screwed me over. My mom is working for the British government. I gotta fart. Trudeau, eat every drop of that, bud. Or I won't feed you any more of those right from my butthole, bud. You gotta huff it right through my sweatpants, though, buddy. Oh, I am not your friend either, Trudeau. I'm not Trudeau's friend. I am friends with everyone in Canada except Trudeau. He's just a horrible person. Anybody who, like, I don't know how he was accepted. It shows that Canada is horrible. Our prime minister had done blackface at his college and university. The guy was a teacher, and he used to paint blackface on his face. I've never done anything like that, and I can't even imagine doing something. I have a conscience, and that's where I know, because he did that, he cannot possess a conscience because he did that. I would start crying if I did that. I would start crying. I can't even imagine. I before Trudeau did that, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't know anybody that did that, but I didn't know. I'm such an innocent person when it comes to racism. I didn't even know that was a thing. I had no idea that there was a thing called blackface, good or bad. I didn't even know about it. Not only that, I would never do that alone. I don't. If I wanted to, like, dress up as a MC Hammer for Halloween when I was 20, I would have innocently done that, but made it look like I was MC Hammer, because MC Hammer is awesome. Like, you can't say that that's bad. And I'll explain why. The way I said it. If you want to dress up as the Hulk, right? And you got to remember that the Hulk and MC Hammer are both seen on TV, right? They can both be like, we can idolize them because they are these figureheads they've put in front of us to look like. It'd be like someone growing their beard out like mine, and then me saying that it was sort of racist because I have some red in my beard, if they if they put red beard stuff in their beard, right? Um, it is that simple. But I get that people's feelings are hurt because of people mocking them. And that is something that can't be accepted. But when you're trying to look like someone on TV because you love that MC Hammer, which I did when I was a kid, I would have, I never did it, but I'm saying for me, in my heart of hearts, I would have been okay with it because I loved MC Hammer. I wasn't trying to mock a race of people and make them feel bad. I was dressing up like a baggy pants dude who was seen on TV as the greatest rapper in the 1990s that ever lived. Period. And that would have been cool. But True Donk did it on a different level. And also, I gotta say this: it's if he meant it as a racist thing, then he's the biggest piece of shit in the world. But if he honestly, in his heart of hearts, was just trying to get into character, like, well, there's a movie, there's that army movie where that guy does blackface. I don't know what it's called, but it's an army movie, and that white guy puts on pretending to be that black guy in the movie, and they did it in Hollywood. Is it Iron Man? What's Iron Man's name? Like the guy with glasses and the thing. Tony Stark. What's Iron Man's real name? Let me look up who Tony Stark is. Who plays Iron Man? And then we're going back to the vaccine thing, and then I'm out of here. Who plays Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr. So Robert Downey Jr. blackface, because he played blackface in a movie. Has no regrets over Tropic Thunder. See? Here, Trudeau, this is for you. That's your dinner, okay? And that's all you get today. You scumbag. Robert Downey Jr. has no regrets over Tropic Thunder blackface, and he wrote that in 2020. For his ironic use of blackface in Tropic Thunder. I don't know how I'm. Yeah, I don't agree with it. That's for sure. Well, because I think that is poking fun, and Hollywood should always be better than that to try and like stir up a can of worms in a racist topic. They should always be better than that, and they're not, of course. So I gotta go back to Google. I'm not stopping the stream until I find the fucking story about this doctor. I swear he was from England. I read this last year. I read it on stream too, but I want to do it again. Vaccine. So this was unethical. It's not research. Groundbreaking. How vaccines were created. That's what it is. How vaccines were first created unethically. The chilling experiment, which created the first vaccine. BBC. Yes! And the BBC.com is not what you think it is. It is the British, I don't know what it stands for, but it's it's like CBC in Canada, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. British Broadcasting Corporation, that's what it stands for. What was the first vaccine made against? Edward Jenner is considered, oh, this might be it. Yes, this is it. Yes, Edward Jenner is, so it is literally What was the first vaccine made against? That is the question that Google asks you a 4 question. Okay, listen to this. Edward Jenner is considered the founder of vaccinology in the West. In 1796, after he inoculated a 13-year-old boy with a vaccine of virus, cowpox, this is it, and demonstrated immunity to smallpox. In 1798, the first smallpox vaccine was developed. Here's what you don't know. If you think that he got it right on his first trial, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm going to read it again. Edward Jenner is considered the founder of vaccinology in the West. In 1796, after he inoculated, that means after he infected, a 13-year-old boy. You should look up what cowpox is, by the way. The 13-year-old boy did not give his consent. The doctor knew what he was doing, and he knew the outcome. Now listen, he infected a 13-year-old boy without his knowledge, without his parents' consent, and demonstrated immunity to smallpox. Oh, sorry. Inoculated means he gave the kid the vaccine and then he administered the the poison. Like he put the poison on the kid's body. Like you have to rub the swab on the kid's body to infect him with cowpox. This isn't the actual one that I read, but now that I have this here, I take the keyword Edward Jenner, vaccinology, 1796, 13-year-old boy. I take those 6 keywords and I post it in the top of Google. That will then bring up the true write-up of this. Watch and learn. And again, you all need to learn how to fact check. You do. Now, I'm not saying that the entire internet hasn't been scrubbed and full of poison, but I know for a fact you can still find truth on the internet because I know a lot, and there is a lot of truth out there on here for you to read. I use this as I understand. I'm not all the time able to verbatim it, so I'll pull up the keyword. I'll put in the keywords and then verbatim, what I understand for you to bring it down. There's a lot of info in this world, and you do need to have, like some sorts of spurring your memory with such. We're delving deep here. We're not just talking about Michael Jordan got 30 points last night in Atlanta. Wake up, bud. Trudeau, that's for your breakfast tomorrow. It's going to be really cold, and that's good. You don't deserve a hot breakfast, bud, unless it comes straight from my sweatpants. But that's only at Christmas time. So we're going to take keywords out of here. Edward Jenner. And you can actually just, if you're super lazy, you can literally just go, you can literally copy and paste. So you can just take that, you can go copy, you can roll to the top, you can paste Edward Jenner, you can go back down if you're too stupid to spell or to type anything. Edward Jenner is considered the founder, so we're going to copy vaccinology. I'm going to put it on top here. I'm just doing this just to show you, like, for influence purposes, I can type. Trust me, I can type. I can spell. I'm good at math. That's all you need. After you you should have language should be your key. Everything is about language. I spent a lot of time in my life talking to very important people in my life. I said in my life. You could probably care less, but those people have been very influential in my life. And I've chosen conversations very carefully to have with those important people in my life. Edward Jenner is considered the founder of vaccinology in the West in 1796 after he inoculated a 13-year-old boy with the vaccina virus, cowpox, and demonstrated the immunity to smallpox in 1798. So sorry about this. In 1796, he inoculated a boy, and finally, by 1798, 2 years later, the first smallpox vaccine was developed. So there was a lot of trials going on over those 2 years. But I want to make sure you're very understanding that that 13-year-old boy was not the only person that was tested on. And if you think he was, look up how vaccines are made and look at the huge amount of people you need to run a vaccine trial. And remember, this guy did it with one 13-year-old boy. No, he didn't. He was infecting people for decades, quietly. The same thing they do now. Remember, if you enjoy my videos of truth, knowledge that will set you free, make you more, make sure you don't do anything, okay? You don't have to do anything anyone says. Have a great day. Peace.